Hello, everyone. Yo, it's Gabe here. I got my man Wave Mammals in the place to be, representing Vegas. How you doing, my brother?
I'm doing great, man. I'm just, happy to be alive, happy to be chilling in the house, not in the heat.
Indeed, man. Yeah, we got to stay inside. Um, Thanks for meeting with me. I'm a big fan of yours. Wave Mammals
Much
is
love, yeah.
yeah, for real. Producer extraordinaire, dope MC with sick wordplay. He produces for himself. He produces for other artists. He's a drummer and basically just a musician. So I appreciate your time, brother.
Hey, man, no doubt I'm happy to be here. Happy to talk about everything I got going on.
Word. Well, let's dive into that a little bit. You have a single forthcoming on Keep Records, and tell us the name and tell us a little bit about the vision.
Honestly, this single's just a real loose, fun one. I didn't really have set intentions when I made it. It just kind of rolled off the tongue. Everything about it, the song's called Test Drive, and it's really just that. Like, it just feels like a like a little show of what's to come. So when I made the track, it was just kind of one of those things where I was sitting in the studio and making beats, and I really liked what I was doing, and I ended up writing a couple bars, and that's where like the first line kind of comes from, is like, Gran Turismo, I test drive the track, because it felt like I was literally just kind of seeing where this was going to go. And yeah, it turned out good.
Oh, that's dope. Because I was listening to the track, and it's got a lot of ride references in it, and I like the wordplay in that regard. But the thing I like about your production is it's got the low end. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because a lot of us listen to music on our phones, and what struck me was, first off, the visuals and the wordplay. But then when I took it into my whip, man, it really took it to another level, man. So a lot of your production has that low end, man. Is that a focus of yours when you create the beat, or do you add it in later? How does that work?
Nah, for me, that bass, that low end is a big driving factor of everything I like to make. I want everything to really smack, whether it's on your phone or you're in the whip. And shout out to Chief, Mindful Matters, for getting that mix right and making sure it slaps every time, because that's a big part of my music. Actually, is I'm trying to get it thumping every time.
Oh, for real, man. Yeah, definitely. The mix is spot on. I saw the video on Twitter. So I'm scrolling through my Twitter feed. Syntax hadn't even told me about the release forthcoming yet. But when I saw the visuals, I had to click on it. So can you explain to me about, who did the video, who had the idea for that? Because that takes the track to another level already.
Well, to be fully honest, I filmed that video. I edited that video. And it was kind of the same vibe as when I made the track. I was just kind of trying it out. I got a new 360 GoPro. I was like, let me see what I can do to this. I just made that song. I was like, why not make a little visual for it? It felt right. That felt fresh. So I literally just clipped that to the side of the whip, drove around the block a couple times, and that's all it was. And that's stayed true to the test drive fashion. It was like, just kind of, let's see where this goes, let's have some fun, let's keep it rolling.
Yeah, and it's so Vegas, man, because that Vegas sunshine is different from any other sunshine, man. So
yeah,
I got props for you, man, because the GoPro is where it's at, and keep doing what you're doing, man, because
thank you, bro.
It looks like it's a big budget video, so you're definitely in pocket with that. So yeah, go ahead, man.
Oh no, I was just gonna say, which it's funny, like that, I would consider most of my other visuals, like somewhat big budget, like shot on a proper, camera, proper shooter. Shout out my boy Keen. Like those are like real movies to me. And this was kind of more just like a different kind of thing, like one take, 360 cam vibes. But I'm glad it captures all of that and everybody digs it,
Yeah, it's amazing that it came out that way. So staying on the single, what medium is it going to be released on? I know Keep Records themselves like to do vinyl. Is this going to vinyl? And what other mediums are going to be out there? Obviously, we talked about the video.
No, yeah, it's streaming everywhere digitally right now. The video's out, but the most important thing to me about this release is the vinyl. It's coming to vinyl very soon. Syntax came to me and basically just like really gave me a big boost in my morale. I feel like he kind of just came to me and was telling me that it's just like, it feels like with the shit that I'm doing and the shit I'm about to do, like it feels like it's my time and I need to like really put the pedal to the metal. And so I'm teaming up with Keep Records, and we're gonna drop a vinyl. We're gonna drop a Flexi 7-inch, and I'm super stoked on it. This is like my first like solo release on vinyl, head to toe, just my vision with the squad, and it's gonna be dope.
That's dope, man. It's definitely your time. Hey, I collected vinyl in my past, and I'm not even gonna front. I know the 7-inch, but I don't know the Flexi. Could you explain that a little bit? What's the difference between the Flexi and the?
So yeah, no, I believe I could be wrong, but I believe Flexi is actually pressed with PVC. It's a little more delicate, and it gets pressed into these sheets, these pre-made squares, and then they press on it with their stamp or whatever. But
I think I've seen that before. Those are like collector items, man. Those are real fresh.
Yeah, it's a different feel than just like a regular record. It's like Flexi. It's legit flexible. Like it doesn't seem like it should be playing music, but it does, and it's something really cool that I think we're gonna play with more in the future.
Totally dope. You mentioned that it's your time to shine. You got your whole camp behind you. Is there a difference in producing for yourself and producing other artists, or is it all the same for you?
Producing for other artists, I can definitely say is a little different in the sense that I try to get into the artist's head and I try to play puppet master a little bit more, and I try to just kind of turn the mirror on them and reflect whatever sound I think I'm hearing from them or what I want to hear from them. When I'm producing for myself, there's never a time where I sit down and I say, oh, I'm going to produce for myself. I'm always just kind of producing and making things. So when I make something and then it catches my ear in that certain way, or it aligns with how I'm feeling in that moment, that's usually when songs get made.
Spoken like a true producer, my brother.
Thank you, man.
Appreciate that. And you're the owner operator of Make Music Live Zen, which is a great title, because I know I had written an article about you guys. And I know you had referenced Zen in one of your lines, and I really appreciated that. Can you speak to that moniker, and how does it affect your music, and what is the vision behind that?
Yeah, Make Music Live Zen is really just kind of my life motto, and and I wouldn't consider myself like the most Zen person, like I'm not out here meditating every day or, but music helps me maintain my Zen. So it's really just, it's more of like a statement, like make music equals living Zen to me, and those words are kind of interchangeable. I like to tell for anybody and what they like to do. You know what I'm saying? Like if you're a painter, paint art, live Zen. Like it's really interchangeable. But for me, like that's where I kind of walk that fine line of like making music, maybe not even the most Zen music, but just making music to maintain my own personal like solitude.
That's dope, man. It definitely makes me want to get into the lab with you, because that approach is like no pressure. You know what I mean? You could let artists breathe and do your own thing. So I appreciate that, because it's artists are always trying to outdo themselves, but in a sense, you're living in the past. You're trying to outdo what you did in the past. So that moniker is spot on, man. Keep doing what you're doing, brother. That's amazing.
That's a great way to put it, man. Thank you.
Yeah,
No doubt.
yeah, no doubt. Tell me about the drummer side. I understand you're a drummer for a metal band called Imperial Tide, which is another great name. How long have you been drumming? I don't know anything about this, but school is
Yeah, bro, I got you, man. So drumming was really my first love. I started playing drums in like 2007.
Nice.
I always loved all kinds of music and stuff, but at the time I was way more into metal music. And by the time I got into high school, I eventually met some people and started getting into bands. And I was in bands from like 2010 on, really. And then really I just lined up with my boys who were like really some of my best friends. And we created Imperial Tide. Almost like 7 years ago at this point, we created Imperial Tide. And, you know, those are just my homies for life. So, of course, you know, life, you know, takes us in different directions. But during, you know, the pandemic and, you know, we kind of started to come together and start writing again and just being able to reach out to each other and send each other stuff more. So, yeah, I've been working on that project for the last couple of years now, getting that thing rolling. And it just feels good to, you know, express myself in all different directions, you know, like on my instrument, on the mic, on the beat, like all that is really just who I am as a person. So being able to link back up with them and eventually get back on stage and perform with them is like that really just makes my whole life. So that's really how I'll always be. I feel like as an artist is just like very spread out.
Yeah, I feel like I could hear the influences in your music, you know, and the variety that's in the music and the musicality. So I got to pick your brain, man. So give me your top three or top two drummers, top two metal bands, top two producers.
All right.
Put you on the spot.
I'm gonna go the drummer one. Ooh, that's a good one. Yeah. All right, I'm a Questlove #1 favorite drummer. Nice. Not only just for his drums, but just for being a creative genius. Yeah. And then for #2, I'm gonna go with a youngin in the game right now, JD Beck. Absolutely slays. Plays the most insane jazz music. Look up JD Beck. He's really on some other shit.
I will.
Metal bands is tough right now. I'm gonna go #1, Code Orange, just because they're so progressive in their sound and not scared to genre bend and just have fun. And then I'm gonna go ahead and toot my own horn. I'm gonna say Imperial Tide. Because the shit the shit that we've been doing and like we got going on is really unparalleled. And so I'm gonna just say that. Producers. All right, #1, I'm gonna just go because I was just talking about this the other day. Alchemist is probably one of my favorite producers, and probably my favorite producer of all time. I mean, just he keeps coming with shit that you know it really hits me every time in a right in the heart. You know what I'm saying? It really gets me. I'm like, oh, he did it again. You know, so probably
he does it every time.
Every single time. I
appreciate that because I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, I go ahead because I need time to think of my second favorite.
For real. His when the pandemic hit, the first pandemic, his joint album or joint EP with Conway, man, got me through that whole time period where I was just at home, still playing Dr. Mario, listening to Conway and Alchemist. And he's one of the most underappreciated producers in the game. And like you said, no, you can't say, oh, his best time was in the 90s or 2000s or now. He's still dropping heat. So I'm so glad you dropped that.
Yeah, been killing it I mean, like you said, from the 90s, you know what I'm saying? Like classics. He just dropped that album with Boldy James. He dropped that with Freddie Gibbs, Concurrency. Like the list goes on, and then at the top of that list is like Jay-Z. So he's literally worked with everybody and continues to like feed us new artists. You know, he could just stay on top. Like dishing records to, you know, top 40 artists, whoever he wants. But he's really just like been feeding us new artists for how many years now, you know?
Yeah.
So.
Well, I don't want to overplay the producer vibe with you because, like I said in the beginning, the wordplay is sick, my man. And that definitely is reflected in Test Drive. Tell me about your origins of starting to write lyrics, and, you know, how long have you been doing it, and, you know, break it down for me.
Yeah, no doubt. My first, well, I think it, like I was saying, probably 2007 when I started playing drums. I feel like music really kicked in a big way for me, because I remember that same year being in history class, and literally for like an hour, I did not listen to a single thing the teacher said. I literally just wrote like a rap the entire class, and I did that in multiple classes. And I don't know where it came from, just from listening to music and, you know, wanting to say something, wanting to be creative, I guess. And it wasn't to any beat in mind. It was just rhymes, you know?
Yeah.
And then eventually even in bands, I always had lyrical input and ideas on like flows or whatever, you know? So by the time I linked up with my homies in Tribe Chillin' in high school, like they were already like recording and rapping, and I had just started making beats. And so I was like, yo, like we just kind of all teamed up, and they really put me on to like getting on the mic and spitting, and because they were laying down like serious bars to me at that time. So I of course had to come like correct, and I always wanted to, you know, not be the weakest on the track. So always wanted to put the work in, like always wanted to have the illest bars. So really it's just kind of been like that ever since. I just really use my writing to express myself, get stuff off my chest, get to embody certain feelings that, you know, you can't wear in public every day, you know, like just like talking mad shit like on Test Drive, you know, I was really feeling myself that day. And then that's what it was. And you know, I like to get that feeling every time I listen to that track now.
Dope. So I'm from Denver, and I did a review on Volume 2. So tell me about Caught Up in the Haze. I understand you guys recorded that while you're on tour. First off, you guys make it around the country as often as you can, which I appreciate about you guys. Hitting city to city. And you happen to slide through Denver. Tell me about that track. How did it come about, and what was the vibe there?
Man, whenever we're on tour, like the vibe is really special. And I think we always keep in mind, like, to have a mic and a setup around just to be able to capture a special moment, if possible, in those little pockets of time that we do have. And one thing I really remember about that track in specifically is I remember just having my laptop sitting on the kitchen counter with some headphones in. I made that beat, and then I unplugged my headphones and I played it out loud for everybody. And we just stood around in the kitchen, kind of pacing back and forth, writing raps. And that's really all I remember about making that track. But like somehow, you know, throughout touring and making music, we just have come up with these dope tracks that we've been able to, you know, put into cool projects that are just kind of time capsules of memories at this point, which is great.
That's fresh, man. Love the spontaneity. Is it like that in the studio? Just do you have a focus, or do you just start playing beats for artists? How does that work?
Nah, a lot of the time, you know, if I'm there to work with an artist and create with an artist, I usually want to create with them on the spot, because capturing that vibe it's like lightning in the bottle for me. But I'll usually start, you know, just kind of by playing some beats, or, you know, if I'm in the studio, I'll usually, you know, kind of start out just on my drum pad, maybe making some drums, or looking through little, you know, playing with the keys on there. Or I got a lot of little instruments around. I got pianos and guitars and basses and little bongos and tambourines and wood sticks, and like plenty of things to keep me occupied and just like switch up the vibe. So I try to keep it fresh every time and just kind of go in go with what feels right.
Word. Well, I feel like I'm going to answer my own question, but it brings to mind a lot of your production to me sounds like it is sampled, but it's none of your beats have samples. Is that because of the instruments you have on tap? Is it a focus to get that sound, or is it just come organically?
Oh no, that's definitely a big part of my sound. I love, I got a closet full of records that I love listening to and I love chopping up and having fun with,
Yeah.
But really with my own instrumentation, that's a big goal, is achieving that sound without having to sample anything. So usually it comes from, I'll be making my own. I've been making my own drum breaks and just chopping up my own breaks that I've recorded, and just kind of using sampling techniques on live instrument recording, and then using effects to make it real dusty and gritty. I got a lot of, my baby in my studio is a 1970s Yamaha CP20. Yeah. So like it's got that fuzzy electronic piano Rhodes kind of sound that you just won't get on any.
You can't duplicate that.
It's there's plugins up and down the street, but I know that I got this out the pawn shop and it's dusty and it sounds dusty. So
yeah, that's dope. I love that you got the gear on tap.
Yeah.
So where can people follow you on social? Drop all down the IG, the Twitter, all that.
Yeah. Real simple for me. You can find me everywhere. IG, Twitter, Facebook is just at Wave MMLZ. And, I got all my merch and all my music on makemusiclivezen.com. And then the vinyl pre-order will be up soon. The vinyls will be out soon. That'll be on Keep Records.
Looking forward to it.
So, it's good things coming,
Dope. Does anybody want to shout out before we head out? Any information you want to let people know?
Yeah, you know what I mean? I'm going to say album coming. That's all I'm going to say. And then, shout out to all my people, Syntax, Chief, the Tide, the Tribe, Richie, all my boys, Life, fucking Orlando, everybody I love in my life. Shout out you for having me, man.
Hey, no doubt.
I appreciate the love. I'm sending my love to everybody, always and forever. So yeah,
for sure. Well, I just want to thank you again for taking the time to meet with us, and I wish you much success and much prosperity. Like you said, man, make music live Zen. Keep doing your thing, brother. This won't be the last time we talk to each other. So
yeah, let's do it again.
Thanks again, man. Peace,
no doubt,
brother.
Man. No doubt. Appreciate you having me, dog.
You got it. Always, man. Stay up,
yes,
brother.
Yes, sir. Got you.
Right.